Heroes Hour. It's basically Heroes of Might and Magic on steroids. The maps are mostly randomly generated in a really, really cool way, which we'll go through in this particular episode. But also, it does actually have real-time battles, as you can sort of see through here. And there's like 12 actual factions you can play as. So there's an awful lot of content in this game. And it's just getting better and better and better with each iteration. We're now about to look at version 2.2. And so what this is going to be bringing a lot of changes to the game, this particular update, free update for the game. So I think what we'll do is we'll go through a lot of the changes when we start to play the game, but in this first episode I really wanted to show how the maps are generated in Heroes Hour. It's quite unique, and I think it's really one of these things where you think, okay, there'll be a lot of games that will copy this in the future because it's just such a really, really cool way of actually generating random maps. Really cool way of doing it. So it's sort of one of these things where you sort of you see node-based design or node-based programming in a lot of different sorts of other languages, like built for business or for animation and things like this. But you don't really see it much in gaming, and it makes perfect sense. And that's what Heroes Hour does. If I go to a new game, I'll just find where my cursor is. There it is. When we look at it, we'll sort of see various nodes floating around other nodes. And so these are all aspects of random map generation, and each little bubble that you see here has got a purpose. So we can actually go and control that. By the way, the changes that have come in this particular version, I'm only going to be able to touch the surface of this. There's just so many in here. There's two different types of maps that you can have in the game. There's tile maps, and tile maps are ones that you construct yourself, where you paint where you want the roads to go and where you want the buildings to be. You place the objects, and so a lot of maps, a lot of games have a tile map style editor where you can then go and craft what you want yourself. Now, personally, I don't like that all that much in games. I much prefer to have a random map generator, get me started, and then get going. Now, this game has got both. It's got the tile map generator in through, or tile map editor in here, and a node map random map maker. And that's where we're going to be spending most of our time today. I'm going to be going through the things in it that can be confusing when you start to do your own random maps. By the way, you can set up a random map really, really quickly. Like don't be put off by generating a random maps. All of these are just random maps that have been sort of set up in the game with different, or essentially they are anyway, with the different nodes doing different sorts of things. And so, like, if you find one in here that you like playing, then that's fine. For example, I don't like playing with docks on. I prefer not to have the ocean play any role at all. I like the choke points of having to fight my way through the fortifications, more so than actually having like a group land in on the other side of my landmass and sort of attack me without being able to defend properly. So a lot of these automatically come with docks, and I prefer not to have docks on my map. So that's just one reason that I would prefer to have my own random map generation rather than using these. So, but you could have all sorts of different reasons for wanting to do it, and it is really, really easy. So if we just go down to new node map, now a node literally is just a collection. So just think of it of as in, this is going to be a region on the map with a certain set of parameters. So new node map. Now when we start off with basically the starter kit map here, and it starts off with a faction. You've got like a player faction then through here, and some other objects that sort of come onto this particular node. Now the nodes have got a size. They've got like different sorts of mobs. Now the mobs are the groups that can be defending different areas. Now you can theme them if you like. So you can actually have them as themed mods. We'll get to that in just a minute. You've got the strength, like from and to in the strength factors of the actual mobs, which we'll talk about as well. The terrain of the actual location of the actual area that you're crafting. Whether it's going to be trying to match something in particular. Random objects are either on or off, so you can actually have other objects appear on the actual map itself that you don't really get to control, or the actual objects that you want to have on the map itself. Now, to grab this one, you just go and click on it. That will then sort of select it. I can move this around in the map just by by clicking and holding and then just sort of dragging it around on the actual screen itself. So that's sort of one way to do it. So again, you've got like size will go down from very, very small through to quite large. I think 10, yeah. So 5 is the default, and 5 is fine. Actually, you might just make this one a little bit bigger for the player. So I'll make this like a 2-player game as an example. Mobs can be any. You've got all sorts of different things. Like this they'll only be from there's 12 factions in the game. So if you just go through the 12 factions, the last one is Delirium. Then they've got mobs that actually have got a theme to them, like the Pact of Nature, the Noble Rain, the Throne of Ethereals, the Underworld, Myriad Swarm. Let's go with Underworld in this instance. Let's just get started with an Underworld one through this particular area. Whoops, keep on clicking the wrong thing. So this one would go from the protection would be from level 1 through to, and if you don't, I wish there was a little number that showed you what it was, but it doesn't. So you've got to go, let's click on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this goes from level 1 to level 6. So I'll just get it back up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll do. I think we can go up to level 10, I think. The terrain, let's go and specify our own terrain. So again, we can just go through and click through these like crag, dirt, grass, ice, lava, marsh, or sand. Or if we can go to auto based on matching other things like matching auto, matching player 1, so matching the different sorts of players, etc. that may be playing the actual game. So I'll just go with crag in this instance. Why not? And then we've got like the edit objects and random objects are true. Like I can actually have random objects true or false, but let's just go with true. And if we go to edit objects, this is the objects that then get placed in the map area itself. And all you do is just add the list. And so we've got like starting town in through here, which is where the player character can start. We've got 2 start mines. These are our ore and wood. So they're our basic mines. Then we've also got 3 rare mines in through here as well. This is your mercury, your sulfur, and your crystals. I forget what they're called. Don't know if you've got free, which means that they're basically unprotected, I think. You've got specific sort of like level protections back through this way as well. So up to very, very high level if you're wanting to. But auto is just basically, it'll automatically figure out what sort of protection it does actually require. If we just go and add, we can add more. So just going through the full list. I'll go through the full list in here and then we'll just keep on adding a few. So starting town, as we said, is where you start off with a town and a character that can then sort of start there. So that's going to be fine. Start mines and the rare mines we went through. You can actually also then have your own specific mines. It's quite often a good idea to give it a gold mine as well. So let's just go and throw that one in there. Actually, I'll just go on adding them as we go. So we'll just keep on going through. I wish there was a drop down, to be honest. Oh, by the way, that can be gold, ore, wood, mercury, crystal. Actually, it was crystal, gems, or sulfur. Okay, so that's it there. But I'll just go with gold. And that one there is decrepit, which means that you then have to fix it up. Potential, overgrown. So you've got like different statuses, or normal just means it's a fully functioning mine. And through here you've got like unowned towns as well. Like you can have towns that are random, that something will be there, and you can basically sort of take it over and use that as a second town. Town percent hero. I actually don't know what this one does, to be honest. So I haven't actually played with that one. Resources back through here, so you can have like just random resources around the map. Again, this is sort of ideal for what you do want to have, like, or specific ones. I might just add in 2 randoms of those, so that way we get lots and lots of resources we can pick up, and we'll just add some more stuff as well. So I'll just go through them. We've got the artifacts, so let's go and throw an artifact in there as well, or 2 even. Put a bit of everything in. Why not? Now, you don't have to go this far, depending on what you want. The battle mods, this will sort of help us modify forthcoming battles if we wanted to. I'll leave one of those in there. A lot of this stuff wasn't part of the map generation before. It was sort of like whether there was random things or not. But now you've got like a lot of control over what gets in the actual generation itself. So there's a lot more than what there used to be. Dwellings are interesting as well, like where you can actually have sort of like dwellings that then feed you units or whatever else it might actually be as well. Let's go and throw in, and this one again, we can actually have like a mage palace, crystal lair, whatever you sort of want to have in through this particular area. In through there's a lot to choose from. Goblin Towers. Yeah, it's just heaps and heaps and heaps. Earthen Mines. God, there's more here than I thought there was. God, there's so much in there. Just go to random. And instant, I'm not sure what this one does. I'll just go instant no. That's okay. And you might be able to pick up multiples of them in the first instance that you actually find them. I'm not sure if that's the way that one does work. And then weekly, basically, how much it's going to generate per week. And so you can sort of have it so that it only generates like a small amount or full amount per week. Let's keep it at 100%. Let's just go back now and grab more. So the next one is the adventure items or adventure locations. Again, we can go through like chapels, arcane cloisters, arenas, crucibles, etc. Let's just keep that one random as well. Just add them all in. Why not? Because there's so much now that you can put in here. Like a lot of these weren't here before. There's the docks that I absolutely hate. I really don't like these in the game at all. Like I find these really, really annoying. Simply because you can get in behind the other player, and it's for me it unbalances the game too much. I just don't like them. Anyway, I can turn them off now by not having them in the maps. Starting hero, you don't have to have your starting hero in a town. You can actually have them out and about separately. Hostages can be sort of like you can have like fairly powerful units that have guarded, and if you break them out, they'll then join you. But I'll leave that one alone. Monument back and through there. Let's throw that one in. They'll make this one a monument to. Was there random or not? I might just go with. I'm going to actually change this one because the undead have had some love in this particular version. So I'm going to make that one decay. And I'm going to make this one so that we end up with player 1. So we'll go player 1 there will be the decay player, just so we can sort of see it. And then we've got different things that we can do. So we'll just go with a decay. And then this one here is a monument, like skeleton, zombie, tarantula, lost soul, vampire. Let's make it a vampire monument. And I can't even remember what these do in the game, to be honest. So let's just keep on rattling through. So we've got... where are we? Monument palaces. Let's actually have those as well. So these are other things that will sort of feed us more money, I think, is what they actually get to. There's so much more in this game now. The game is just getting better and better and better. Now, you could have portals. I think that what we'll do is we'll just keep that off for now and not worry about them. This would then allow us to sort of, if we had like an area that we wanted to be able to have access to, we can actually have a portal. So let's just leave that one off. The obelisk is one that we can put in if we wanted to have like treasure. So let's actually throw that one in there as well. All right, we're still going. I don't know what happens if we get to the bottom of the list here. What actually goes on with that one. Shrines, we've got minor shrines, major shrines, ultimate shrines, redwood observatories. Okay, let's just go with minor shrine. Keep on adding. I don't know if it'll scroll off the top. We'll find out in just a minute. It may not. That's the end of it. All right, let's just leave it there. Okay, so we'll remove that one. Okay, so that's basically a big, long list of things that we're going to be randomly generating. I might get rid of this one as well, I think. There's a lot that I've placed on this one. So I'll remove that. Everything else looks pretty good though, I think. So we'll leave all those in there. 2 artifacts I think is fine. They're just going to be auto. We don't know what they're going to be. So we'll return from there. Now we'll see there's a big long list of all these things. So we can, at a glance, we can sort of see what's actually in through here. So that's essentially how you set up a node. A node. All right, so what else can we do with that? Now, we've actually set this one up very particular to be for player 1. And so that's actually we're going to have a problem with that. And I've done that on purpose because normally you wouldn't do that. If we go back in and edit the objects, you normally would leave that on player auto. So that would be typically what you would then leave it with there. In fact, maybe I should put it on player auto so you can sort of see the changes of what actually does happen here. If we just go and return back in from there, I'm going to, by the way, whenever you do a map, it's going to have like a temp name. So if you make a mistake, it'll tend to sort of save where you are with that temp name, but I'm just going to call this one the Undead March or something like that. Made by Daz Tactic. Daz Tactic, there we go. And the most important thing, like and subscribe. There we go. Guys, like and subscribe. It does help, but don't worry about it if you don't want to do it. I don't really care. Right, so this is sort of like where we can go and do the like the actual map itself. So if I save this, I've now saved essentially a one-player game. I'm going to win the game as soon as I start this because I'm not actually going against anything. But you see on the outside, I've got this little add area that I can start to add things onto it. So I can sort of string things along. Like, for example, I can add another node into here. And then when I'm in here, I can add another node over this way if I wanted to. And I can set these things up whichever way I like, exactly what I was doing there before. If I press delete, I've basically got to select that one twice. Go back in here, press delete, select it twice. So if you make mistakes, quite often you'll be making mistakes and think, oh, hang on, I didn't mean to do that one. Just delete the node that's associated with what you're doing. So that's the way that you would then add on a specific location to a node, is just to go out to the node add. Now the next one out through here is mirror. What this one does is it creates a point where the game will sort of add on to it from that particular location. So if I go and click on mirror, this is sort of where the game can become quite unwieldy for people who aren't used to seeing it. But if I do that one there, I've got the mirror then showing. Now I don't know how to turn that off. Unfortunately, when it's on, there's no click on there to actually do it. If I go and click mirror anywhere else, it'll just change that mirror location, the central point. Now, if I change the symmetry, it means that I'm just emulating this particular element time after time after time. Now, if I go back to, I'll just go back to say symmetry 2, just so we've got like two areas. That then creates a single area. Now, I'm going to go back and if I go and add over here, what it's then going to do, if I zoom back out, it's added another one back out through that side of whatever the setup is into here will be the same elsewhere. I'll just go and delete that one. I'm going to go back now. The only way I can actually figure out how to change this is to go back and freeze the symmetry. To go back into and make this the symmetrical center. That then gets rid of that particular one out through there. The trouble is though, if this is a symmetry center and I click on add, I now get 2. So it becomes a bit of a problem. And what I would like in this case, so once I get to that point, I tend to restart them if I accidentally click on symmetries and I don't want them to be there. But in this case, I actually do want a symmetry center, but I don't want it here. I want this to be at one end of the map, and I want the other one I want there to be a neutral zone in the middle, and then I want to have an enemy exactly the same as I am. So my symmetry isn't back in here. My symmetry should be here. So I'm going to click on that one there. And symmetry 2, if I up this one, I then just get more and more different player characters back in these different areas. But I only want 2. Just make it a simple little game. Okay, so nothing has been really added except for some random objects in this particular one. Let's just make this one a little bit smaller. So size 3, we've got size 7 back out through that side. Now back over here, I don't really want this to be undead. I prefer this to be something different. But I've already now set up the symmetry with this one sort of showing. So if I now freeze the symmetry from back over this side, I now can go back into this one and edit what's going on. So if I just scroll across, click on that one through there, and go into edit the objects. And so if I now go across and change this one to say order, because quite often I'll just go back to the basics, like the basic human, basic undead. So let's just go with that one. That's going to give them all of the same stuff. Now the ones we probably want to change is this one here, back to order as well. Cavalry will be fine. I'll just leave that one there. So they're going to have different sorts of objects, and some of them will be themed more their style, and some of them will be themed more my style. So I'll just go back. Now we made this one crag. Let's make this one say go to grass in this instance, and that's pretty much then done. Like we've actually now got an enemy down to fight against. I could have left it on symmetry and with random starts because I could have picked what I start as from the start of the game. Back out through here. Actually, this one, sometimes it does do this. I just have to edit the object in here and change. This one has actually gone back through. I think that this will then fix itself. I don't know why it does that. This is a beta version. Just return. Just make doubly sure. Because we turned the symmetry off, remember. Oh, it's gone back again. Okay. The symmetry is off at this stage. I'll have to figure out what's going on. Yeah, look, I just saved it and then left this one, came back into the editor. Now I've got them as two separate elements. So yeah, that seemed to sort of work. Just make doubly sure that that one's still decay. I'll just see if this one now fixes itself up. But it should, if I just make that one back to order again. And return. And we'll just have another quick look across. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah, good. It's kept there. That's good stuff. All right, so that's fine. We'll just return. So yeah, okay. In that case, you did have to sort of do a save. I don't know if that'll be fixed by the time this particular patch is done, but that's a slight bug there, I would guess. Again, I'm playing with a version that is a beta. It's not actually the release version of the update. That'll be coming at time of recording. Even by the time I actually start to upload this, it'll probably be some days before the actual update hits properly. You can actually access this beta, by the way, if you're interested. You can grab that one just through Steam by selecting the current beta patch in your. I won't go through how to do it, but it's not that difficult. If you can't do it, maybe just have a look on Google, see if you can find anything. So we've got like not much happening in through here. What we can just do is just save this. I'll save and generate. That way we can see what the map actually looks like. Is this going to be viable? Is this going to be fun? Is this good enough for us? So in through here, there's no fog of war when you do this. You can see what's been generated. And then you go through this little area through here, for example, into an area with not much in it. And that's actually okay. I could put more stuff in there if we did want to have it. There's another obelisk. So we've just got random stuff that has been placed, including like some of the maps, some of the areas. I wonder if we turn off the random stuff from that side. Yeah, we might do that actually. I mean, it sort of does add a lot. And then we've got these big terrains in through this side as well. So this is all randomly generated. This is how the node system works. Very, very cool, I've got to say. Return to the editor. So let's just go back in. So let's just go and make random objects false in this instance. And we'll go across to here, make this one false as well. And save and generate. So it's just looking like it's the same. Looks like the same player. Anyway, we'll figure that one out fairly soon. So this should be a bit smaller now. We shouldn't see double ups of the various mines. We should still find them in here, like different sorts of things, just randomly created in through this area, which is fine. So I don't mind that at all, except unless there's docks, of course. Have a quick look along the coastline. I don't think there is. No, there's not. Okay, that's probably better, having them turned off and then having it just turned on in the middle there. That still means it's going to generate some mines, which is actually good. So it just has a collection of stuff without having any other detail. Let's just return to the editor there. So there's nothing in here. It's really blank. Let's just go back to that one. This one's grass. Let's just change this one to something else. So that's crag, that's dirt. Let's just leave it as dirt. Done. Save. Okay, that's been done. That's all we needed to really do. You can see there's other things we can do, like random resources on, roaming heroes off, seed generation is off as well. Now, what seed generation does, you're always going to have sea. In this game, we can't actually have access to the sea. But seed generation is the objects in the ocean, is that what gets put in there. Also the borders, you can actually get rid of and just put land everywhere if you're wanting to. It still will put some water in, like if we save that one and generate, let's have a bit of a look and see. There still will be water, so it won't really make that much difference. But what it will do is it'll bleed off the edges where it can. So it'll sort of it'll end up trying to bleed off the actual edges. I still think I prefer the look of the island more than anything. So let's just go back to the editor and just make that one see all the way through. Okay, save that one, and I think we'll just get started. So it's very, very easy to build a map. As you can sort of see from this one here. And so I'll now go through, I'll leave this episode here and we'll just start up an actual game. So if I just go and save, press escape. And so when I go to my new games, it's now going to be always in the custom area. So there we go, Undead March, back in through this side. And yeah, if I click on that one, I can edit it or delete it whenever, if there's tweaks I want to make to it. Actually, it is only one player, so we do have to edit it. There's still a problem with this. I'm going to go back into here. We're just going to go back to edit objects. It's got I'll make that one player 1. That may have been what was causing the issues before as well. And we'll just go back across to here. Header objects. Player 2. Return. Now please be playing nicely. I think we're okay. So we'll save that. So it's 2-player game. Press escape. New game. And we should see now it's a 2-player game. There we go. With the 2 players. Now it's showing random in through here. It's not random. Like if I start a game of this, we will be playing as player 1. We will be playing the as the undead. So I don't know if there's any way if we did it with I don't know if we can force it. Let's have a look and see. I don't think it will. I think it'll still stay undead. Yeah, it's still undead. So it's actually all of that other stuff because we told it this is an undead castle. That's staying as undead. So that's fine. And so this would then be sort of like the way we'd start it. But I'll do that in the next episode. We'll just sort of get started. I'll do a quick summary as to how we got here, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. And there's a lot to go through with the changes that are coming in this particular version of the game. Very exciting changes.